A Science Teacher Guide. Chapter 1. Science Teacher Guide. Science Teacher Methods Info. Science people in general are very cut and dry. They deal mostly with accepted paradigms. Even though they're supposed to be great dreamers and innovators, many cannot think outside the box of conventionally accepted science theories. When a student approaches you and asks about time travel or colonizing Mars, you shouldn't just reject it outright as stupid ideas. You have to let people dream. After all, 200 years ago, if people saw a box that music and voices came out of, they would either think you were a magician or a supernatural being. It's just science ahead of its time. A good science teacher presents decent lectures, but their strength is in showing people how things work. For example, you can explain how a power company creates electricity, but it's better to show a video and even better to go on a field trip to a power company. From there, invite some alternative energy people to class to explain how their equipment creates electricity. Show more than talk. There was a class somewhere that built their own volcano. There is a lot of stuff on pbs.org. There are high school classes building robots and cars who compete in national science contests. Problem-based learning, PBL, is applied science. Teach them how problems are solved using science. Students work in groups to solve the problems. Students teach themselves while the teacher acts as a facilitator, mentor, or guide. The students keep a learning journal called their Personal Academic Development Plan, PADP. They keep a record of their notes, learning materials, and reflective commentary on their progress. In college, a lot of science teaching is experimental. The students actually do scientific experiments. High schools often don't have the money to be able to do this, but it is a superior way to learn science over just book learning. Work-based learning and field trips are a feature of good science and engineering programs. Get students out there seeing how science is used in daily life. Teach the connection between science and business so that students know the process to take an idea, develop it and turn it into a profitable company. Teach the personal aspects of science, mainly to 1. Be a good communicator. Be able to present your ideas. 2. Be personable, empathetic, and friendly. Smile at least once a day regardless of whether you feel happy or not. It is okay to take the logic hat off now and then to feel your emotions. Industrial presentations are good. For example, invite the local cable TV company, the water company, the wastewater treatment company, the recycling company, the plumbing company, etc. to do presentations about how they operate. The social sciences are about people writing articles and ideas on their own. Science is about discussing ideas with others, then trying to get funding to do the experiments. Unlike the humanities where a person can pursue some great idea about life on their own, with science, you need a team to back you up, fund you, then make it happen. There is some science software and simulators on the market that how things work in virtual reality. VLE is virtual learning environments. artofteachingscience.org. Science teacher career. Nowadays, there are specialty science teachers like computer science teacher and environmental science teacher. There is also a subfield called school science technician, the guy who helps set up science equipment. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/school_science_technician. nstia.org, National Science Teachers Association. careers.nstia.org. bls.gov/oco/ocos069.htm. artofteachingscience.org. lawrencehall.science.org/edresources, Lawrence Hall of Science, hot links. For teachers. bwfund.org/pages/379/km, the Career Award for Science and Mathematics Teachers in North Carolina. ista-il.org, Illinois Science Teachers Association. careerplanner.com/job-descriptions/agricultural-sciences-teachers, postsecondary.cfm. careers.collegetoolkit.com/careers careers.nsda.org/advice_planning.asp, careers for science teachers. careers.stateuniversity.com/pages/346/family-consumer-science-teacher.html careers.gateway.uk/links collegeboard.com/search/majors_careers/profiles/majors/13.1316.html collegetools.com/careers/biological_science_teachers_post-secondary/overview/25-1042.00.aspx diplomaguide.com/articles/environmental_science_teacher_career_info.html ed.gov/about/offices/lists/ope/fipsi/lessons3/hall.html, the science teacher career ladder en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Virginia_association_of_science_teachers en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Wisconsin_society_of_science_teachers environmentalchemistry.com/careers/ca/type/science-teachers.html, science teacher careers in Canada nsda.org, National Science Teachers Association freesay.com/essays/760250.html, secondary science teacher career analysis montana.edu/wwwxs, science teachers nccareeroutlook.com nsda.org, National Science Teachers Association qcpages.qc.edu/stc, science teacher careers ra.terci.edu, math and science teachers sci.lib.uci.edu/sep/sep.html, science and math shader.org/ssep/stu/career/teacher.html simplyhired.com/a/jobs/list/t-science teacher techdirections.com, magazine for science teachers National Science Teachers Association 1840 Wilson Boulevard, Arlington, Virginia 22201 3000 703-243-7100 fax 703-243-7177 nsda.org STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, Teacher Websites pbs.org/teachers, PBS Teachers pbs.org/teachers/STEM/professional development, Professional development resources pbs.org/teachers/STEM, STEM Resources Center nsf.gov/statistics/about/bills-111HR5116enr.pdf, the America Competes Reauthorization Act of 2010 stemedcoalition.org, STEM Education Coalition stemmed-uploads/wp-content/uploads/2011/09/stem-ed-1-5 Alliance of more than 500 business, professional, and education organizations 100kin10.org 100kin10 initiative founded by the Carnegie Corporation of New York, Opportunity Education and New Schools Venture Fund. Rossier.usc.edu, USC Rossier. STEM.neu.edu, Northeastern University's Center for STEM Education. Intel.com/content/www/us/en/homepage.html, Intel. Intel.com/about/corporate responsibility/education/K12/STEMunits.htm, lesson plans. Educate.intel.com/en/design discovery. school.com.eg, multimedia resources. Chapter 2. Science Teacher Website Guide. Science Teacher Websites 1. science-education.nih.gov, Science Education, NIH. anachem.umu.se/eks/pointers.htm, Chemistry Teacher Resources. cbt.virginia.edu/olh, the Remote Access Online Real-Time Science Experiment. chem.lapeer.org, Science Resource Center. col-ed.org/cur, CEC Lesson Plans. csun.edu/tilde-hcedu013/plans.html, Big Sky Lesson Plans. edcn.s.cmich.edu/tilde-tvontini/edlesson.html, Lesson Plans. education.indiana.edu/cas/tt/tthmpg.html, Teacher Talk Forum. education.jlab.org/index.html, Science Education at Jefferson Lab. eric.ed.gov, Ask ERIC Science Lesson Plans. faldo.atmos.uiuc.edu/weather/weather.html, the Weather Unit. hhmi.org/cool science, cool science for curious kids. hood-consulting.com, Amazing Science at the Roxy. jgeeson.de/welcomeenglish.htm, Around Physics. ktca.org/newtons/alpha.html, Newton's Apple Lessons. learnersonline.com, Online Educator. library.thinkquest.org/11924, Wizards Lab. life.uiuc.edu/plantbio/cell, the Virtual Cell. littleshop.physics.coloradostate.edu, Little Shop of Physics. luc.edu/libraries/mollencrot/tt/cur_lesson plans.htm, Science Power 2000. mcrl.org/topics/topics.asp?topics ID =13, mcrel Lesson Plans and Activities. mip.berkeley.edu/physics/physics.html, Physics Lecture Demonstrations. muohio.edu/dragonfly, dragonfly. ncsu.edu/ncsu/pam/science_house, the Science House. npr.org/programs/sfkids, Science Friday Kids Connection. nwrl.org/sky, Library in the Sky. ph.utexas.edu/research_area.html, Physics Demonstration Online Resources. powerof2.org/resources, Explorer. sciencecourseware.org/blol, Virtual Fly Lab. scifun.chem.wisc.edu/homeexpts/homeexpts.html, Home Experiments. scssi.scetv.org/mim/lesblns.htm, Math and Science Resources, Lesson Plans. Sitesforteachers.com, Websites and Resources for Teachers. sbrtechsoftware.com/rico, Rico's Mad Scientist Lab. stemworks.org/lessons.html, Science Lesson Plans. teams.lacoe.edu/teachers/index.asp, Teams Distance Learning K-12 Lesson Plans. thegateway.org, The Gateway. ualberta.ca/L Kennedy, Lesson Plan Page. washington.edu/uwired/outreach/teched/using/science/astro.htm, Galileo. whitman.edu/biology/vpd/main.html, the Virtual Pig Dissection. wings.ucdavis.edu, K-8 Aeronautics Internet Textbook. atmos.uiuc.edu/left/gh right/guides/mtr/home.rxml, Online Guide to Meteorology. www.itg.lbl.gov/vfrog, Frog Dissection. Science Teacher Websites 2. technomuses.ca. amazing-space.stsci.edu nbii.gov/discipline/botany/science.html harvard.edu/ect/the_book/index.html, eyes on the sky, feet on the ground, hands on astronomy activities. epa.gov/global warming/kids/version2.html, global warming kids site. koshlandscience.org/exhibit dna/index.jsp, Marian Koshland Science Museum. mpin.nbii.org/insects/kids butterfly, NBII Children's Butterfly Site. techlearning.com. sudi.org/educators_index.asp, energy industry teacher resources. eair.energy.gov/education/lesson plans, energy lesson plans, curriculum, EAR. energyquest.ca.gov, Energy Quest. eair.energy.gov/science_projects.html, energy science projects. blm.gov/education/00_resources/articles/energy/energy8.html, exploring alternatives. fe.doe.gov/education, fossil energy lessons. eair.energy.gov/education/lesson plans, green energy lessons and activities. seg.org, Geophysics Kids Connection. seismic.seg.org/seg-vm/home.html, Geoscience Virtual Museum. phet.colorado.edu, Interactive Science Simulations. eair.energy.gov/education/lesson plans, K-12 energy lesson plans. fe.doe.gov/education/energy lessons, learning about fossil fuels lessons. aep.com/environmental/education/wind/default.htm, learning from wind. learnersonline.com/weekly/lessons 02/week 44, oil spill lesson. citgo.com/community involvement/classroom/lessons.jsp, petroleum related lessons. visionlearning.com/library/animations.php, science interactive learning animations. hippocampus.org, science and math learning modules. fwe.org/tg/curriculum.html, the nature of water power curriculum. learner.org/teachers lab, teachers lab. usgs.gov/education, usgs the learning web. projects.edtech.sandy.net/projects/ocean.html, ocean. pltw.org/index.cfm, project lead the way. ans.org/pi/edu/teachers/reactions, reactions, teacher resources, nuclear energy. ocw.mit.edu/high-school/demonstrations-on-video, science demonstrations on video. nsdia.org/publications/nses.aspx, science education standards. nsdia.org/publications/freebies.aspx, lit=pub, science teachers resources. pbs.org/wgbh/nova/programs, Nova science videos. particleadventure.org, particle adventure. sciencenews4kids.org, science news for kids. sciencepioneers.org/page detail 3162.html, science pioneers teacher resources. societyforscience.org/isef/students/scientific_method.asp, science research and the process of science. seaperch.org, seaperch, naval engineering for kids. fc.org/frprojct, student engineering projects. energy-facts, students guide to energy and fuels. teachengineering.org/index.php, teach engineering, curriculum and lessons plans. Science teacher websites 3. teachersdomain.org/collection/k12/sci.ngn, teachers domain, engineering. nae.edu/weblinks/cton-557RLU ? Open document, technically speaking, tools for the classroom. fi.edu/careers/careers_flash.html, welcome to my world, careers in science and technology. pbs.org/wgbh/novas/teachers/activities/3207_blee-riot.html, a daring flight. uen.org/lesson-plan/preview $LPID=353, airplane design lesson plan. smithsonian.ucatan.org/educators/lesson_plan. nasm.si.edu/education/teaching_resources.cfm, air and space lesson plans. nasa.gov/audience/foreducators/top nav/material. pbs.org/teachers/science-tech/inventory/motion forces 912.html, motion and forces lesson plans. nasa.gov/audience/foreducators, NASA explores lessons. nasa.gov/audience/foreducators/top nav/material s/list by type/pop_can_hero_e9.html, pop can hero engine, NASA. nasa.gov/audience/foreducators/top nav/material s/list by type/rockets.html. school.discoveryducatan.com/lesson plans/programs/understanding flight, understanding flight. pbs.org/wgbh/novas/teachers/activities/3015_wright.html, what's wing warping? archives.gov/education/lessons/industrial-us.html, development of industrial United States. intel.com/education/manufacturing/index.htm, Intel manufacturing process. 13.org/edonline/lessons/toys, mechanical control systems, our favorite toys. web.bsu.edu/teched2/manufact.htm, manufacturing activities. 13.org/edonline/tech/lesson1.html, test a production system lesson. asme.org/education/pre-college/teacher resources/buoyant_vehicles.cfm, buoyant vehicles lesson plan. education.jlab.org. nps.gov/history/nr/twhp/wwwlps/lessons. Science teacher websites for 23 Allegheny/23allegheny.htm, developing transportation technology lesson. sask.gov.sk.ca/docs/drivered, driver education curriculum. intel.com/education/projects/wildride/index.htm, it's a wild ride. uen.org/lesson-plan/preview $LPID=3842, monorail design lesson plan. earth911.com. pbs.org/teachers/science-tech/inventory/transportation912.html, transportation sci, tech lesson plans. engineering-i.in.g.k12.org/educators/how_do_in_in_in_my_in-in-default.php, air-powered car lesson plan. my.gonc.com. gm.com/experience/education/teachers/a-america_on_the_move.jsp, exist equals false, automobile history lesson plan. ncsu.edu/imse, instructional materials in science education. iit.edu/smile, science and math lesson plans. exploratorium.edu/explore/hanson.html, hands-on science activities. telus.ssc.wisc.edu/outreach/teach/curriculum.htm, Earth and Space Science Curriculums. nsf.gov/news/classroom/earth-environ.jsp, Earth and Environment Classroom Resources. dels.nas.edu/teachers, Earth and Life Studies, Resources for Teachers. smithsonian.ucati.org/educators/lesson_plans/science_technology.html, science lesson plans. literacynet.org/science-links/student-learner-number.html, online numeracy and science practice. project2061.org/publications/bsl/online/bolintro.htm, benchmarks for science literacy. nsdia.org/standards, National Science Education Standards. nap.edu/reading room/books/nscs/overview.html, National Science Education Standards Overview. edstandards.org/stsu/science.html, State Science Standards. nsdl.org, online library for education and research in science, technology, engineering and mathematics, the National STEM Distributed Learning, NSDL, program. nestanet.org, National Earth Science Teachers Association. narst.org, National Association for Research in Science Teaching. nsdia.org, National Science Teachers Association. ase.org.uk, Association for Science Education. hhmi.org/biointeractive, free resources for science teachers and students. sciencenetlinks.com/lessons. hhmi.org/cool-science/resources/sbt-home.php, resources for educators. sciencenetlinks.com/tools. sciencestage.com, an online portal for the advanced teaching of science and scientific research. ase.org.uk, Association for Science Education. 101sciencE.com, Science and Other Technology Subjects for Home Learning Centers, Amateur Radio Operators and Amateur Scientists. actionbioscience.org. actionbioscience.org/lessondirectory.html. aets.chem.pit.edu/welcome.htm. ibs.org, the Advancement of Research, Education. andrologysociety.com, a non-profit scientific, literary and educational organization having the purpose of advancing knowledge of the male. apdl.rice.edu. apl.utoronto.ca, the University of Toronto's Artificial Perception Lab investigates the theory, implementation and application of multi-sensor information systems. ase.org.uk, Teachers Helping Teachers Teach Science. UK's largest science association dedicated to the teaching of science. BerkshireBio.com, online sale of living organisms for biology class, science fair projects, home teaching. BillNye.com, online science laboratory. Includes learning activities and show information. Bubbles.org, all about soap bubbles. Bubble blowing, solutions, history, fun, Java games, bubble machines and trivia. callutheran.edu/academic_programs/departments/biodev/omm/gallery.htm, the creators of the online macromolecular museum. celebaralaciencia.org. Science teacher websites 5. chem4kids.com, Raters for Kids feature tutorials on many specific science topics. computationalscience.net. cozy.net, a network of 7 regional centers that act locally and regionally. Its aim is to promote the development of partnerships between research scientists and educators, to disseminate effective ocean sciences programs. CSTL.org, CSTL is dedicated to science education and literacy. digital.library.wisc.edu. drjek2mrhy.tripod.com, answers to a variety of science and technology questions. ed.fnal.gov/arise/arise.html ed.fnal.gov/ed_lsc.html, located at Fermilab. Over 25 education programs aiming to develop habits of mind through inquiry. eelink.net, Environmental Education. embia.uvm.edu/task. energy.giatech.edu, the Georgia Tech Strategic Energy Initiative. eskimo.com/tildebilb/edu.html, from teacher Bill Beatty's home pages. Includes links, projects, and lesson plans. fi.edu/guide, content packages that support student investigation of local science issues. girlstech.douglas.rutgers.edu, explains and demonstrates a framework to evaluate electronic resources that will encourage and increase young girls in science. globalspaceleague.org. hbcse.tifr.res.in. ideas.wisconsin.edu/index.cfm, teacher-reviewed physics lessons, interactive tools, and other resources. iit.edu/smile/index.html, the Illinois Institute of Technology, SMILE project has hundreds of chemistry lessons in its Chemistry Lesson Index. k12science.org, education resources and science projects for K-12 grade levels. kidsbiology.com. kidsbiology.com, biology for kids. learner.org, a collection of multimedia teaching resources for science, math, art, history, English and foreign languages. learningcenter.nstia.org, science teachers. mcps.k12.md.us/departments/event science, a middle school science curriculum based on actual events and real-world problems. mlml.calstate.edu, Moss Landing, California. MLML provides a unique educational program for training students in marine sciences. msnucleus.org, prepares K-12 science, math, and technology curriculum. Includes catalog and research projects. msde.uiuc.edu, Office of Mathematics, Science, and Technology Education for K-12. nabt.org, National Association of Biology Teachers. nazep.org, the National Association of Health Science Education Partnerships, is a non-profit educational partnership program. nap.edu/readingroom/books/nscs/html, the National Academy of Science provides information on standards and assessment for professional development. nasmc.org. ncscc.org, teacher training initiative from a consortium of universities and research institutes. ncsu.edu/imsc, resources for science educators. nestanet.org, an overview of the topics covered in earth science. nmlsda.org, supports and promotes exemplary and innovative middle-level science teaching. nsdia.org, site has extensive collection of information about the teaching of science. nsdia.org, the National Science Teachers Association. nsdia.org/about/awards.aspx, information on awards and grants for teachers of all grade levels and disciplines. Also links to information on student awards and competitions. nsdia.org/pd/institute.aspx, a professional development gateway for science educators. newyorklearns.org, a standards-based, educational website that offers resources to enhance teaching and learning. physical.udallas.edu, C3P is a curriculum project designed to implement research from physics education into high school. physics.webplasma.com/physicsdoc.html. physics.webplasma.com/physicsdoc.html, physics for beginners. project2061.org, the American Association for the Advancement of Sciences site on reforms of science. pumas.jpl.nasa.gov, PUMAS, practical uses of math and science, trigonometry problems for students to solve. r_tai.tripod.com, promoting the use of animated GIFs and Java applets in the teaching of science. Sandlotscience.com, interactive optical illusions, games, science projects, fun puzzles and distortions. School.discoveryducatien.com/lesson plans. sciencecases.lib.buffalo.edu/cs, the website of the National Center for Case Study Teaching in Science. sciencecentral.com. sciencefinder.co.uk. sciencegems.com, resources are sorted by category and grade level. sciencenetlinks.com, resource for K-12 science educators. sciencespot.net, resources for teachers such as lesson plans, experiment ideas, and teaching tips. sciencespot.net, resources for teachers such as lesson plans, experiment ideas, and teaching tips. Shudder.org. singaboutscience.org, usefulness of music in science and math education. sln.org, community of educators, students, schools, science museums, and other institutions. sbdbv.vital-it.ch/the molecular level, chemistry. ssdoo.gsfc.nasa.gov/education/kids.html, space science activities for elementary and secondary students in astronomy, physics, life sciences, and space. ssema.org, professional K-12 organization and publisher of journals. sdatweb.org, a statewide organization of elementary through college level science teachers and supervisors. teachers.teach-nology.com/themes/science, gives you the best resources to access for 18 different themes. Science Teacher Website 6. teachersdomain.org. teach-nology.com/teachers/lesson_plans/computing/web_quests/science, links to over 250 science web quests listed alphabetically. teach-nology.com/worksheets/science, features over science labs for biology, chemistry, and physics, and numerous other printable note skeletons. tryscience.org. tryscience.org, interactive experiments, virtual field trips and problem-solving games. veggieu.org, provides 4th grade curriculum that meets national science standards. virtualpet.com/engineer/readnt/readnt.hdm. wsare.wisc.edu/ncis law, charged by the U.S. Department of Education in 1996 to build a research base. wsare.wisc.edu/nise, focuses on improving the level of science, mathematics, engineering, and technology education. yville.net, a free website dedicated to learning through exploration and communication. archive.wsareuw.org/nise, National Institute for Science Education, NISE. archive.wsareuw.org/nise/research_programs.asp. archive.wsareuw.org/nise/dissemination.asp. archive.wsareuw.org/nise/related_links. archive.wsareuw.org/nise/publications. Science Teacher Websites 7. accessexcellence.org, Access Excellence. cbc.umn.edu/MWD/courses.html, virtual courses on the web. ceismc.gatech.edu/busyt, K-12 website for busy teachers. chemistrycoach.com/home.htm, Wilton High School Chemistry. corporate.classroom.com, Classroom Connect. educ.queensu.ca/science, Science Education Resource Page. education-world.com, Education World. eelink.net/ee-link introduction.html, environmental education links. ericc.org, ERIC Clearinghouse for Science, Mathematics, and Environmental Education. esu.edu/barbecue/side_tour, educational resources for science teachers. xworthy.com, Xworthy educational links. eiseoftime.com/teacher, the school page. gonc.com, Eisenhower National Clearinghouse. inventionfactory.com/lounge/index.html, Science Teachers Lounge. mathcentral.uragina.ca/papers/wrys.useuniversities.html, K-12 Educators Roadmap to the Internet. ncsu.edu/imse, imse.net, Instructional Materials in Science Education. ocw.mit.edu, MIT's Open Courseware. pbs.org/wgbh/nova/teachers, Nova Online for Teachers. quest.arc.nasa.gov, Quest. realkids.com/tools.htm, Cool Teacher Tools. school.discovery.com/schrock-guide, Kathy Schrock's Guide for Educators. scienceanalogies.info, Science Analogies. sciencespot.net, The Science Spot. smplanet.com, Small Planet Communications. teachers.work.co.nz, Teachers at Work. teachnet.com, Teachers Edition Online. towson.edu/csme/mctp/home.html, Internet Resources for Science and Mathematics Education. trc.org, Teacher Toolbox. web.archive.org/web/20030807074756. web66.cold.umn.edu, web66, AK12 www project. webpages.marshall.edu/jmullins/index.html, Education and Science Links. yn.la.ca.us/cec/sci-sci-hi-hi.html, Science Mini Lessons. Science Teacher Websites 8. nap.edu/catalog.php ?record_ID =4962, National Science Standards. departmenttest.washington.edu/next/strategies.php, Advice for Engineering Teachers. reachoutmichigan.org/fun-experiments/age subject/subject.html, Science lessons by grade and subject. nasa.gov/audience/for educators, NASA for educators. science.org.au/primary connections/additional.htm, Science learning and literacy. sci.mus.mn.us/sln/vialis/try these/try these.html, Wind and motion activities, project to make. sciencecourseware.org epa.gov/superfund/students/clas_act. Superfund for students and teachers. seaworld.org/just-for-teachers/guides. fi.edu/msp, Science Curriculum Resources, Energy. blm.gov/education/00_resources/articles/energy/energy7.html, an energy budget lesson plan. bioenergycenter.org/students-and-kids, bioenergy for kids. nanocnsc.org/activities/clean energy, clean energy unit. teachersdomain.org/resource/phy03.science/physmfe.z future, designing future cities, clean energy. science-teachers.com, Science Teachers Resources. chem.lapeer.org, Science Teachers Resource Center. sdao.org, Science Teachers Association of Ontario. schoolexpress.com, School Express. learnersonline.com/weekly/lessons03/week 5, driving to a cleaner future lesson. firstenergycorp.com/community/free_resources/electric_avenue/electricavenue.html, electric avenue. learnabout.energy.org/resources/plans.htm, energy activities, learn about energy. kids.esdb.bg, energy and kids. Science Teacher Websites 9. cybrariman.com/sciencelinks.html timefforkids.com thuildclassroom.com frog.edschool.virginia.edu/frog2dissectafrog nationalgeographic.com weatherchannel.com nsf.gov/news/overIUs/biology/interactive.jsp kbears.com/k12sciences.html gould.edu.au/foodweb/kids_web.htm teach-nology.com/themes classroom.jc-schools.net/sci-units iknowthat.com/com/l3 area $sign science%sign20 lab sciencewithhme.com bobstewlinks.com/lpscience.htm links to science activities sciencepage.org/teachers.htm resources for science teachers accessexcellence.org Access Excellence, a website for high school biology teachers which features science news, classroom activities, and biology-related resource links. corporate.classroom.com, Classroom Connect, excellent source of educational links, news groups, projects, fun links, and teacher contact database. realkids.com/tools.htm, cool teacher tools, cool links to some of the main educational resources on the internet. esu.edu/barbecue/side_tour, educational resources for science teachers, a very complete listing of science education resources. webpages.marshall.edu/jmullins/index.html, education and science links, an extensive collection of the best links and resources for science and education, maintained by John Mullins. education-world.com, Education World, archive of the best educational sites on the www, covering all areas of education. gonc.com, Eisenhower National Clearinghouse, a nationally recognized information source for K-12 mathematics and science teachers. A very extensive collection of resources. ee-link.net/ee-linkintroduction.html, environmental education links. This site provides a great deal of educational material for environmental education. eric.org, ERIC Clearinghouse for Science, Mathematics, and Environmental Education, access to material from the ERIC database, lesson plans, websites, publications, etc. xworthy.com, xworthy educational links. The sections on science resources and links to lesson plan sites will be especially useful resources for educators. ncsu.edu/imse-imse.net, instructional materials in science education, from the folks at North Carolina State University. This site provides links to every possible type of resource that a science teacher might desire. Check it out. towson.edu/csme/mctp/home.html, internet resources for science and mathematics education, an extensive list of resources. From the main menu, choose your desired science area: chemistry, biology, physics, earth science, etc. mathcentral.uragina.ca/papers/wrys.useuniversities.html, K-12 Educators Roadmap to the Internet, links to resources in science and mathematics. execpc.com/dbols/k-12.html, K-12 sources and lesson plans, an excellent selection of K-12 resources, lesson sites, project sites, etc. ceismc.giatec.edu/busyt, K-12 website for busy teachers, reviews of educational materials, lesson plans and classroom projects. school.discovery.com/schrock guide, Kathy Schrock's Guide for Educators, a thorough list of subject area and general resources. ocw.mit.edu, MIT's open courseware, free college-level courses from MIT. Covers a broad array of topics. pbs.org/wgbh/nova/teachers, Nova online for teachers, This site gives a summary of what's on the most recent Nova online site, plus lesson ideas and science activities. Pigly.com, Pigly, guide offering interactive tools to help teachers explain math and finance concepts to students. Quest.arc.nasa.gov, Quest, the NASA site which offers support and services for schools, teachers, and students to utilize the Internet as a basic tool for learning. Follow links to online interactive projects and educational resources. eyesoftime.com/teacher, the school page, a variety of resources and services for teachers are available, plus lists of interesting sites and links to educational resources. Scienceanalogies.info, Science Analogies, many useful humorous analogies that help make it easy to explain science. educ.queensu.ca/science, Science Education Resource Page, a site dedicated to helping science teachers by providing science teaching resources in the form of links, lesson plans, demonstrations and book reviews. eskimo.com/bilby/edu.html, Science Education Resources, your one-stop to find all the major science education resources. sciencespot.net, the Science Spot, lessons, worksheets, science club ideas, science trivia questions and links to useful resources, it's all here at the Science Spot. inventionfactory.com/lounge/index.html, Science Teachers Lounge, this site lists resources for secondary science teachers, organized into these areas: teacher tools, demonstrations, labs, software, internet utilities, search tools, and more. smplanet.com, Small Planet Communications, a good source for lesson ideas and plans, and links for teachers. teachers.work.co.nz, Teachers at Work, many sites of interest to science teachers. Sites are listed in categories and rated for content, presentation, and age suitability. teachnet.com, Teachers Edition online, information, links, activities and lesson plans of interest to teachers. pacificnet.net/mondel/ Teachers Helping Teachers, a site through which ideas and teaching tips can be shared with other teachers. trc.org, Teacher Toolbox, an impressive list of K-12 curriculum resources. cbc.umn.edu/MWD/courses.html, virtual courses on the web, a super list of courses which are available online. web66.cold.umn.edu, web66, a K-12 www project. This project seeks to integrate the Internet into the school curriculum. Information is provided on finding and using K-12 resources off the Internet. chemistrycoach.com/home.htm, Wilton High School Chemistry, outlines the 21 principles of a progressive high school chemistry course, a large collection of tutorials, a collection of quotations, and an extensive library of links relating to chemistry and related science areas. Science Teacher Blogs from blog.feedspot.com/science_teacher_blogs. amybrown.science.com. arundquist.wordpress.com. blog.whatitsleakyintheinside.com. chillaxscience.com. doyle-scienceteachblogspot.com. fiendishlyclever.com. getreal-science.blog. jackhassard.org. jacobsphysics.blogspot.com. kellyoshea.blog. mrbarlow.wordpress.com. mrsherrysteaches.com. physicsoflearning.com/edblog. phyzblog.blogspot.com. quantumprogress.wordpress.com. sciencesteachingjunkie.com. secondyear-science.tumblr.com. see.ludwig.lahuntasseehools.org. teachscience4all.org. texavvyscience.blogspot.com. theimagineershome.com/blog. A list of science teacher news feeds from blog.feedspot.com/science_teacher_RSS_feeds. amybrown.science.com. amybrown.science.com/feeds/posts/default?alt=RSS. arundquist.wordpress.com/feed. arundquist.wordpress.com. blog.whatitsleakyintheinside.com. blog.whatitsleakyintheinside.com/feeds/posts/default. chillaxscience.com. chillaxscience.com/feed. doyle-scienceteach.blogspot.com/feeds/posts/default. doyle-scienceteach.blogspot.com. feeds.feedburner.com/thetechsavvyteacher. fiendishlyclever.com/feed. fiendishlyclever.com. getrialscience.org/the-get-real-science-blog. getrialscience.org/the-get-real-science-blog/feed. jackhassard.org. jackhassard.org/feed. jacobsphysics.blogspot.com/feeds/posts/default?alt=RSS. jacobsphysics.blogspot.com. kellyoshea.blog/feed. kellyoshea.blog. mrbarlow.wordpress.com. mrbarlow.wordpress.com/feed. mrsherrysteaches.com. mrsherrysteaches.com/feed. physicsoflearning.com/edblog/feed. physicsoflearning.com/edblog. phyzblog.blogspot.com. phyzblog.blogspot.com/feeds/posts/default. quantumprogress.wordpress.com/feed. quantumprogress.wordpress.com. scienceteachingjunkie.com/feeds/posts/default?alt=RSS. scienceteachingjunkie.com. second-year.tumblr.com/RSS. second-year.tumblr.com. see.ludwig.lahuntasehools.org/?feed=RSS2. see.ludwig.lahuntasehools.org. teachscience4all.org. teachscience4all.org/feed. techsavvyscience.blogspot.com. theimagineershome.com/blog/feed. theimagineershome.com/blog. Chapter 3. Science Education Organization Guide. Science Teacher Organization Websites. theaets.org, Association for the Education of Teachers of Science, AETS. narst.org, National Association for Research in Science Teaching, NARST. era.net, American Educational Research Association, AERA. ate1.org, Association of Teacher Educators, ATE. ascd.org, Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development, ASCD. aapt.org, AAPT, American Association of Physics Teachers. asta.edu.au/home, asta, Australian Science Teachers Association. atasc.ab.ca, ATASC, Alberta Teachers Association Science Council. bctf.bc.ca/bcscta, British Columbia Science Teachers Association. nabt.org, NABT, National Association of Biology Teachers. nestanet.org, NESTA, National Earth Science Teachers Association. stemnet.nf.ca/sic/science, NL-TASC, Newfoundland and Labrador Teachers Association Science Council. ast.nstu.ca, NSAST, Nova Scotia Association of Science Teachers. nstia.org, NSTA, National Science Teachers Association. opt.ca, OAPT, Ontario Association of Physics Teachers. il-st-acad.sci.org/smtesoc.html, Science, Mathematics, and Technology Education Societies, a listing of teacher and education societies from the Illinois State Academy of Science. scst.suu.edu, SCST, Society for College Science Teachers. stam.mb.ca, STAM, Science Teachers Association of Manitoba. stao.ca, STAO, Science Teachers Association of Ontario. stav.vic.edu.au/home, STAV, the Science Teachers Association of Victoria, Australia, plus links to other science teacher associations in Australia and New Zealand. Science Education Organizations. esu.edu/barbecue/side/ciderg.html, Science Education Organizations on the Internet. AAAS.org, AAAS, American Association for the Advancement of Science. aets.unr.edu, AETS, Association for the Education of Teachers in Science. apase.bc.ca, APAS, Association for the Promotion and Advancement of Science Education. ase.org.uk, ASE, Association for Science Education. naturfagcenteret.no/essera, essera, European Science Education Research Association. icaz.unl.edu, ICASE, International Council of Associations for Science Education. educ.sfu.ca/NARST site, NARST, National Association for Research in Science Teaching. nas.edu, NAS, National Academy of Sciences. wser.wisc.edu/NISE, National Institute for Science Education. ensela.org, Ensela, National Science Education Leadership Association. nsf.gov, NSF, National Science Foundation. ssma.org, SSMA, School Science and Mathematics Association. Science Teacher Organizations. aapt.org, AAPT, American Association of Physics Teachers. asta.edu.au/home, ASTA, Australian Science Teachers Association. atasc.ab.ca, ATASC, Alberta Teachers Association Science Council. bctf.bc.ca/bcscta, BCT, British Columbia Science Teachers Association. nabt.org, NABT, National Association of Biology Teachers. nestanet.org, Nesta, National Earth Science Teachers Association. stemnet.nf.ca/sic/science, NL Task, Newfoundland and Labrador Teachers Association Science Council. ast.nstu.ca, NSAST, Nova Scotia Association of Science Teachers. nstia.org, NSTA, National Science Teachers Association. opt.ca, OAPT, Ontario Association of Physics Teachers. il-st-acad.sci.org/smtesoc.html, Science, Mathematics, and Technology Education Societies, a listing of teacher and education societies from the Illinois State Academy of Science. scst.suu.edu, SCST, Society for College Science Teachers. stam.mb.ca, STAM, Science Teachers Association of Manitoba. stao.ca, STAO, Science Teachers Association of Ontario. stav.vic.edu.au/home, STAV, the Science Teachers Association of Victoria, Australia, plus links to other science teacher associations in Australia and New Zealand. sciencepage.org/side.htm, Science Education Organizations. aaas.org, AAAS, American Association for the Advancement of Science. aets.unr.edu, AETS, Association for the Education of Teachers in Science. apase.bc.ca, APAS, Association for the Promotion and Advancement of Science Education. ASE.org.uk, ASE, Association for Science Education. Naturfagcenteret.no/SERA, European Science Education Research Association. ICAZ.unl.edu, ICASE, International Council of Associations for Science Education. educ.sfu.ca/NARST NARST, National Association for Research in Science Teaching. nas.edu, NAS, National Academy of Sciences. wser.wisc.edu/NISE, National Institute for Science Education. ensela.org, Ensela, National Science Education Leadership Association. nsf.gov, NSF, National Science Foundation. ssma.org, SSMA, School Science and Mathematics Association. Gateways to Science Education Organizations. eric.org/sorgan.html, Science Education Organizations, the ERIC Clearinghouse list of links to various science education organizations. esu.edu/barbecue/side/ciderg.html, Science education organizations on the Internet, links to organizations of interest to science teachers in these areas: general science, physics, chemistry, biology, earth and space, and teacher education. Chapter 4. Science teacher in different subjects. Biology teacher websites. nabt.org, 800-406-0775, National Association of Biology Teachers. biodidac.bio.uottawa.ca, Biodidac, digital resource for teaching biology. biodonline.org, Biodonline, biology teacher resources from Baylor College of Medicine. biology.arizona.edu/psychon/lessons2/lessons.html, general biology lesson plans. biologylessons.sdsu.edu, biology lessons. biocidenet.org, BEN, BiocideNet, National Science Digital Library, NSDL, Pathway for Biological Sciences Education. indstate.edu/amcbt, college biology teachers. nbii.gov/education, biology, biodiversity and ecology lessons and activities. Computer science teaching methods. Get a good textbook. Get some videos that show how it's done. You can only lecture so much when teaching computer skills. It's mostly a laboratory subject, not an academic subject. It's all about demonstrations and projects. Create small teams to develop the programs to solve the problems you assign them. Set up a virtual learning environment where students can see videos of your classes online. Computer programmers need to be able to 1. Communicate their ideas to others. 2. Work together in teams. Computer work is basically teamwork. Loners can write small computer programs, but teams write big programs for business and industry. Teaching computer science is still a growing field. Computer students can plagiarize computer code and claim it as their own. It's hard to accurately test for computer abilities. Computer equipment is expensive. qaa.ac.uk/crntwork/benchmark/benchmarking.htm. ulst.ac.uk, the Learning and Teaching Support Network for Information and Computing Sciences. Computer Science Teacher Career. csda.acm.org, Computer Science Teachers Association. citytowninfo.com/employment/postsecondary-computer-science-teachers. essaytown.com/career/computer_science_teacher_essays_papers.html. Ecology teacher/environmental education teacher. greenteacher.com/links/links.html. govdocs.evergreen.edu/coloringbooks.html, agriculture and environment coloring books. kids.nihs.nih.gov/color.htm, color our world, coloring pages. nrcs.usda.gov/feature/education, conservation science resources and activities. enature.com/contests and quizzes/index.asp, enature fun and games. epa.gov/esbp/coloring, endangered species coloring book. epa.gov/teachers, environment curriculum resources and activities. earth911.org. wef.org/aboutwater/for educators/curriculum materials, water lessons and activities. panda.org/news_facts/high_school/species/index.cfm, virtual tour, wild place and wild animals. geography.usgs.gov, geography, the national map. Engineering teacher websites. teachengineering.org. Physics teacher websites. aapt.org, physics teachers. sciencejoywagon.com/physics zone/lesson/default.htm, physics lessons. school.ie/seniorphysics.asp, physics student and teacher workbooks.